Hello, everybody. I'm gonna have to turn you up.
I'm here. But
We'll see if what audio
I was.
levels are like once you start talking.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm here now, talking. There's a fan going. Is it audible?
I still can't hear it.
Oh, that's so nice because it is hot.
Well, I also have my own fans going, but for slightly different reasons.
Well, these are just some of my smaller fans.
Yeah, I have every fan in my house on full blast, pointing at my swamp of a bathroom.
I'm trying to get this automatic lighting thing going. I mean, it's wonderful technology, but if I move and move back, it gets all dark.
Pintaxo says they can hear us both and no fans. How lucky
Man.
is that?
The only fans we have are on Twitch, I guess.
Ooh. All right, do you have the spoiler up?
No, that would be.
I can send that to you.
We're using NPC Salvation, courtesy of Rancor Elf, who does not get the credit he deserves.
Agreed. I mean, I remember he was doing stuff that I found very useful literally a decade ago.
Yeah, and like being about as courteous as you can be under all circumstances, and then like just universally reviled.
Yeah. I'm using the WotC visual spoiler. I don't know if they're any different, but there's that.
Well, it'll be funny if they are. We'll have a whole disagreement about it. It'll be great.
Well, it's in your Facebook chat box if you get lost.
That is convenient.
All right, everybody, it's Ixalan time. I don't know about you, Greg, but I've seen basically none of these. Just stuff that pops up in my Twitter feed.
I've read every card twice.
Okay, then you're gonna be the expert. And it's like 4:15 right now, and I have a hard out at 11. So we're just gonna power through and try and get the whole thing done right now. But if we don't, we can pick up again on like Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 7 hours, I think we might be able to make it happen. But then again, I just don't know.
Well, 11 is like when I need to be gone, so it's more like 10. But I haven't packed or anything. It's bad.
So 9 it is then.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only going for 1 day, maybe 2, so it's not like I need to do a huge amount of anything, but I should probably make sure I have the stuff I do need.
It looks like this is kind of hard to
Whoa.
Hold on. Sorry.
So during melees, before
Okay.
Did you fix it?
That was in there. Yeah.
Good job.
I was lying on your
Good
screen.
work.
Thanks, man.
All right, so where do you want to start? We could start...
Well, this set's sweet as hell.
Yeah, it looks
love-
awesome from the little I've seen.
And I haven't felt this way since, what was the last set? Because even like Kaladesh was like, it's cool, Like, I like that they're doing stuff in tokens, but it didn't catch my gourd,
Yeah.
But like, I think Cons was the last time I was like, this is sweet.
What was the heroic set?
Theros?
Yeah, Theros. Theros, I felt like this.
Well, before I cast a bestow spell, I also felt like that. But then when I drafted a bestow, I was like, oh, this sucks.
All right, so you want to start on like lands and go artifacts and backwards?
Sure. Yeah, all right.
Or does it make more sense to just do Wooburg and then the fancy stuff?
Well, I think the artifacts. I mean, going from top to bottom would help our viewers probably to like keep track.
All right, white, then.
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, sure. So we got this. We got white vampires right out the gates. They're not messing around.
Yeah. All right. 2 mana. As long as it's attacking, it's a 3/1. Otherwise, it's a 1/1. Pay 4 life. It's indestructible. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, like I mean, it reminds me of that one, that 3/1 that becomes a 4/4 lifelink.
Yeah.
And the idea of like when it's it's an aggressive creature, but the fact that it can block and not die gives it like I mean, sure, it's like it didn't block if you pay 4 life, but there's a little bit of like a
Well, you gain 2 life when you block their 6/5 or whatever.
yeah, exactly. And there's a non-trivial amount of
You just get like a free extra damage on your double blocks and stuff.
It's not like Gideon's at 5/5. You know, it's just like those are just only minor benefits. The idea that it's you're able to have a creature that deals through damage through any wrath that we've seen so far is pretty sweet.
Yes, agreed. But I would think just a mostly limited card.
I don't know.
Is Vampire Tribal a thing?
There is tribal vampire things.
Okay, we'll get to those then. I just want to know because when there's a tribal thing, then you have to like note each one that is or isn't of that tribe.
Sure. Yeah. You know, this is one that is. There's actually tribal is a huge theme here.
All right.
And it just threw out. So.
All right. Ashes of the Aberrant, rare enchantment for 2. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or activate abilities of cards in graveyards. Whenever a creature dies, gain 1 life.
No rest for the weary.
Yeah, just a weird sideboard card for graveyard stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Grapdiggers at colorless wasn't good enough. Now you have this. I like the pattern where they do, like they add on something additional like scrying or like some like gain life when things die to like make it so it's not sideboard strictly or like
right. Yeah.
But this feels a little bit trite.
Yeah, in terms of like marginal value to add to a card to make it a narrow card to make it, always applicable. Gain 1 life is like the marginalist of marginal abilities you could add.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
It's fine, but whatever, it's...
I guess the idea is that the graveyard decks are like making 10 zombies,
Yeah, I mean, whatever, it would have to be... The format would have to be terribly unbalanced for this to be...
Zombies.
Okay.
You have the stream making...
Oh my god. I'm going deep. Okay, we are no longer that way.
Yeah, I don't know. Axis of Mortality. I almost said morality. 6 mana enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. You may have 2 target players exchange life totals. It's just mirror.
Yeah, it's mirror gallery or whatever that is. Mirror universe.
Except when that card was played, it was because the rules like state-based effects didn't exist yet. So you like take 1 from your City of Brass, and then before you die, swap, and they're at 0.
Man, and for people that don't know, there was decks that where you'd go to -1,000,000, because people had like spell shock and other ways for you to like deal damage to yourself while you're going off with Time Spiral, and you'd win at like -1,000,000 life. Cry mana player, and you're like taking 1,000,000 damage. And you're, okay, you're dead. It just felt so wrong. Anyway, this card makes it so the best you could do is like give them 1 life, and you have whatever they had. It's at 6 mana. It should be a real thrill for those that are interested in playing expensive cards.
Yeah.
That do powerful things.
Go ahead, put that in the unplayable build around me mythic.
Yep.
Bellowing Aegisaur. So dinos are a thing.
Oh, are they ever?
Well, it's funny because like dinosaurs, the term dinosaur has been in Magic for 20 of its 25 years or whatever. And now we have to like find a new term, I guess, for like the crawworms of the world because there's literal dinos.
Well, I've actually done some minor research on this, so I can weigh in.
Yeah, please.
There was like a bunch of erratas that they changed lizards to dinosaurs, but at one time those lizards were beasts too. And at one time there was a dinosaur in Magic that got errated to a lizard, and now it's a dinosaur again.
Oh, I think I know that card. It's like a 2/2 Swamp Walk for 3.
That's what it is.
Pygmy Aliosaur, something like that.
I called it an Allosaurus, but I don't.
Yeah. I totally remember that card.
Yeah. And so it's a real success story.
How do I remember that card? It's so forgettable. I guess because it's a dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean, and what's funny is that I think this is the first time Mutavault has been a dinosaur, which is
right. Because by the time Mutavault came around, it was a lizard or beast or lizard beast.
Exactly.
That's cool. Now I'm gonna have to look at like the creature type update. Is it like the 3rd grand creature type update?
I don't know if they call it grand, but it is a creature type update of sorts. It's only like 16 or 20 cards.
The other errata we'll get to is the Planeswalker rule, which I guess we'll wait until red for that. But yeah, Bellowing Aegisaur, 6 mana, 3/5 Enrage. This is an ability that's totally not from Hearthstone.
Yeah, there's actually a ton of there's a ton of Hearthstone stuff.
Like, I get that Hearthstone, is just a Magic knockoff, and so you can just like do stuff that they're doing, but at least name it something different. It's the same name.
You're gonna be, you'll be thrilled. They won't be able to sue over Lightning Bolt when this is done.
Yeah. So it just grows every time. Meh. Probably too expensive.
There are versions of the Oven Rage that are sweet, and
Right.
you'll see them.
Yeah, this one is likely not one of them. It's a very like Shuhei Nakamura card right here. The 3/5 with like a marginal ability.
Dude, I mention this every time you mention his name and large white creatures. How he beat the. Can I say shit?
Yeah, man, swear away.
Dude, he beat the shit out of me with the Caravan Herda, and it was not close. I was playing mono red with 20 lands and I got some flames and some 1/5 lifelinks. I mean, let's just go.
It's unbeatable. How do you win now?
Dude, like, yeah, he was planning for the long balls long before he saw my face.
Well, yeah, that was in his main deck. That wasn't tech for you.
No, it definitely was. He had to ask the judge for basic plans. I saw it.
Gotta splash this super high impact sideboard card.
Oh, and it was no joke.
Bishop of Rebirth. 5 mana, 3/4 Vig, rare. Whenever it attacks, you may return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is something that White's been doing more and more of recently.
Yeah, they're taking
sort of like the top end of our weenie curve gets back other weenies.
Yeah, 5 mana with no come into play ability. I gotta tell you, this Sun Titan thing is not hitting the mark.
It does not. It does not pass the Jace test.
No, I mean, I don't know that we want Sun Titan back, but it wasn't that bad. You didn't need to do this. You know?
No,
this could have been like 1 white and 3. It could have been 3 white mana.
Even Sun Titan's like extreme power level, like its pushed power level, was because of blue, not because of white.
Right. And like, and because of cards like Phantasmal Image and like just other like abusable effects.
Yeah.
This is just like hard to believe.
This is one of the worst versions of this ability we've seen in recent times.
It is a vampire, but
it is a vampire.
As you'll see, that's one of the less catered to creature types in this set where creature type does matter.
Fair enough. Bishop Soldier though, here's a vamp I like. Little bear, little lifelink, little value.
This is one of the most efficient lifelink creatures I've ever seen, actually.
Yeah.
Just like, that doesn't cost 2 of a color. Usually it's 2 white, 2 black. This is 1 white, and it has lifelink, and it's a 2/2. It's nothing to sneeze at, but I've just never seen it like this before.
Yeah. I mean, it's
not great.
It's not great, but it's
unique.
It is unique. It's a little pushed, for in terms of like grizzly bears, tribal grizzly bears. Like normally they just don't have an ability, or they have like a really unique like fringe ability, like like a Ronom unicorn or something.
I have to like discard a card or have 7 cards in my graveyard, like something.
Yeah,
they need something from me. They're always taxing me.
I like lifelink on vampires though, because it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Bright Reprisal, 5 mana instant. Destroy target attacking creature. Draw a card. All right.
I'm having second thoughts about this card. I don't know if it's playable.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously not constructed playable, but in limited, it's gonna be like your 23rd card, and you're just never gonna get to cast it. Unless there's like a ton of flash creatures and stuff, like you can't just pass with 5 mana up and expect to actually like get their best guy with it.
And the thing is, like, back when this card was really good, the it exiled the creature, which was relevant because of threshold, but not like super relevant.
No.
But back then it was like a big deal. Like it actually affected the way that you did combat. Like it was the first chastise where like not playing around it would lose you the game.
Right.
So like you probably get some old insights because of like these playing around these kind of cards, and like when people hold up 5 mana and they think they're being sneaky, like you might see it coming if you were playing back then. But at the same time, it's not the same game it was before. 5 mana for this effect is just so expensive.
Right. Yeah.
The 5 mana is hard to do.
It used to be that the creature you were killing with it was a 4 or 5 mana spell. Now it's going to be like a 3-drop that you have no other way to kill because the removal's so bad. And
Right,
like
like,
2-for-1ing isn't even worth that much anymore. Like a 2-for-1 used to be just game. Like it was over when you got
right.
mind rotted, and now it's like you can win 3 cards down. In 15 turn limited games.
And you did so because your opponent played 5 mana for a spell.
Right, exactly. Yeah, not impressed, but somebody will get got by it for sure.
Quick aside,
Demystify, fine,
you go, man.
fine
Sorry about
reprint. I don't know how many enchantments there are going to be, so I guess we'll.
that. Yeah, this is just offensive. I always hate when they do demystify and not erase. Like I get that, like every
Yeah.
set they feel like they're reading hieroglyphics or some shit, but like just make it.
Yeah, it's always a little weird. And like, we get this, but never like disenchant.
Yeah,
Like that's too good, but this isn't. And like 3 mana sorcery speed disenchant is okay. Like the pricing on these are always so weird.
yeah. Tarashi's banishing or whatever that 3 life one was the
Yeah.
last one where I was like, all right, I'll
Tarashi's
pay
Grasp.
for it. And ever since then, I've been pissed off.
Yeah. Well, and back then you were killing Jits after you got hit with it.
And I loved it, and I was splicing on a Kodama's Might, depending on the
All right, Dustborn Sky Marcher. This is what is it? Infiltrate Veteran or whatever, but costs mana and only hits vampires, but it flies. They have to put a bunch of weird words on Suntail Hawks to get them to be playable, and this one might be just enough.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually notice it had flying. Like I knew it did, but I didn't notice that it's a Suntail Hawk in that regard. I think that the game kind of passed Suntail Hawk by, and the ability is indicative of that. But I don't know that it's gonna make it so. Like I don't think it'll be in the deck that this would want to be in, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to have the deck that curves this into the lifelink 2-drop and just like go ham on people. It kind of reminds me of a Crayson Squire, where people thought it was like good but a little low impact, but then there was a Crayson Squire deck where you just drafted like 5 of them.
In limited, sure. The fact that it's uncommon prevents that in some sense.
Yes.
But I'm with you in that it is. I've won. I know infantry veteran. I know what infantry veteran is capable of.
Yes.
So I do understand that. The fact that it's vampire alone is just going to really limit it, especially when there's humans in white.
Yeah. Yeah, there would have to be like a white weenie aggro tribal vampire deck, which I don't see happening, though. We'll see as we go through the set. 3 mana 2/1 for the Emissary of Sunrise. First strike, ETB Explore. So this is the another mechanic. Reveal the top card of your library. Put it into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on the thing that explored, and then you can scry that card to the graveyard.
Right.
Oh,
So it's
it's a little better than I thought it was.
draw a card. Like talk about skirting the line between is scry drawing a card or not, and now it's like in between scrying and drawing a card again.
Yeah, it's like how many scries equals draw a card, and how many
scry half
how many
draws
explorers? Yeah, how many scries equal explorers, and how many explorers are? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that it gives us a quart between the pint and the gallon. And I don't mind, but it's a weird measuring system. And I think that in general, these cards are going to be great. I mean, the fact that it's first strike as a 2/1 for 3 mana, it's going to be fine no matter what you do. Like you won't be the worst off playing a card like this. But the fact that it explores and gets either a land off the top or a bad card off the top.
Yeah, you straight up draw a card 40% of the time, and you get to scry otherwise.
In fact, this card is actually most closely resembles a Kithkin Harbinger, in that it almost assuredly makes a good card on top of your library.
I see it.
Like it tutors for a top half of your library.
Right.
Like, either it gets one of the bottom half of your cards off, or it gives you a land in your hand, which I assume you're going to want. And then so I mean, I think this is going to be better than it looks if you treat it like draw a card than if you were to second guess it. I think it's worth investing in the fact that it says draw a card, essentially.
Yeah, I agree. I think that these cards are going to be good, especially the cheap ones.
Yep.
Somebody pointing out in the chat that Dustborn Sky Marcher doesn't look like it flies. I'd argue it does, because like the thing that you think is ground are like wisps of his little like cloak thing, and then there's like mountains in the background. Like this picture is being taken way high up.
And let's just like reference movies for a second. Have you ever seen a vampire with its palms facing towards the clouds that is not flying? Never. That's like
Encampment Keeper, another 1-mana 1/1. This one with first strike, 8 mana sack it. Little overrun.
yeah, right. And there's a, I mean, spoiler alert. You know, there's a cycle of these like invokers that have to like sacrifice themselves and tap.
Right.
Which
Well, that's
I think sucks. I mean, if I'm paying 8 mana, you know, I don't need a monthly service fee.
exactly like the reason the invokers were good is because you sacrifice a little value up top to extend the purpose of your extra lands in the late game. But if you only
Yeah,
get one
yeah.
activation, are you really like getting the extra value out of those 7th and 8th lands?
Yeah, and,
Like-
and the tap sacrifice, that just is offensive. That's just
Yeah.
like, that's the service and handling fee. I mean, that's just, give me a break.
And it has
You didn't-
first strike, but its overrun doesn't give first strike.
I would like to speak to the manager immediately. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. Glorifier of Dusk, 5 mana 4/4, uncommon, vampire. Pay 2 life gains flying, or pay 2 life gains vigilance.
It's not Sarah Angel, but I'll play it.
It's Sarah Angel at a price.
Yeah. Luckily, the vampires have lifelink, so maybe we come out ahead on the whole.
Yeah, I definitely like the whole lifelink and pay life theme of the vampires so far. I think that that's super flavorful and like engaging to play with.
I feel like they should have done this more often. They kind of like skirted around this before, like the enchantment that had to do with vampires you could pay life with. But I think that they really like didn't use pay life enough as an obvious feature of vampires, and they focused more on the lifelink. But vampires are very self-indulgent, and you know,
I
as
agree.
immortal as they are, they're blood and spilling it all over. They love that shit. So like they should be paying
As much as I
life that they're-
agree with you and think that they could have and should have used it before, it's kind of cool that now they didn't. Now these white vampires have something unique about them. Like this is their
maybe they're
kind
just
of,
smarter with it.
well, this is just their theme. You know, the other vampires, the vampire families and the other plains vampires have these different traits, and these white ones are unique not only because they're white, but because this is their sort of way of dealing with the world.
I'll buy that for sure. I like it, and I think that I mean, and this card's like, of course, playable.
Yeah,
It's starting to be on the cusp of not of cuttable. You know, it's on the rim of cuttable, but I think you're playing it still.
Yep. And all these pay life things make that mirror universe card make a lot more sense as well.
Totally. Oh, hey, yeah, mine's flavor alert.
Yeah, like if you
Well,
curve
watch
this
yourself.
thing on 5 into that thing on 6, you just win.
This card would be better if it was Phyrexian mana white. You know,
Yeah. Well, vampires are very white. Like lifelink is a white ability, and it's the most flavorful vampire ability besides maybe the Singer vampire ability, which even though it's flavorful, it doesn't come up enough to be relevant as a mechanic.
Suture Priest would have been a
And like they're very lawful. Vampires are. They're very, you know, they're posh. They're like upper class baddies that like have to be invited into your home and shit. Like that's white.
they follow the rules, but like but they they game the system as much within the rules as they can. I mean, vampires is as Orzhov as it gets, but they're actually like they're like the stockbrokers of Orzhov.
Sure.
People doing this stuff.
Goring Ceratops. What is going on in this art? It's like a peacock triceratops.
Yeah, Goring.
All right, 7 mana or 3/3 rare with double strike. Whenever it attacks other creatures you control, gain double strike until end of turn. So this is just one of these overcosted white rares that are like supposed to end limited games. It's usually an angel. This time it's a dinosaur.
Yeah, I'll take Windbreast Raptor any day. This is not going to do it.
Yeah,
for me.
not too impressive, but I like the idea of the peacock dinosaurs. I love that Magic waited.
It should have been attacking creatures have double strike. That's what it should have been.
So you could kill it in combat.
But this, as it is, you can't use it. Man, this is just too expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that Magic waited long enough to do vampires, or sorry, to do dinosaurs, that we know that they had feathers now, and so they can make all these crazy feathered dinosaurs. Because like if they did
That's true.
dinosaurs, 10 years ago, scientists didn't think that they had feathers.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a terrible decision with a P.
Imperial Aerosaur. Aerosaur. 4-mana 3/3 flying, already on board. ETB, another creature you control gets +1/+1 against flying until end of turn. Super on board.
Yeah, where do I sign up?
Like, you play your 2/2, and then it gets one attack in, but then they play like a 2/3 or a 3/3, and you can't get in anymore. But then you play this cost-effective flyer, and you get in for that one extra hit. Especially with these things that have like double strike or lifelink or whatever. I am on board.
This is a welcome guide I'll play.
Yes.
I played welcome guide and I was not unhappy with it. But this card is welcome. That'll do it all.
Imperial Lancer, 1-mana 1/1 uncommon, has a double strike as long as you control a dinosaur. So this seems like a perfect thing to throw into the Aerosaur.
Right. And, if you have a lot of dinosaurs, I mean, they better be cheap and reasonable because, this is the kind of card that you could play and it'd be bad, and it'd be real bad. And it's even bad if you have a dinosaur unless you have something else as well. Yeah. So I would avoid cards like this. But it isn't uncommon, so you won't have to avoid it that often.
Right. The way that this card has existed in the past, the only one that even really worked was the Duelist that gained double strike if it was equipped.
And that was, yeah.
And that only worked because double strike is inherently good when it's equipped.
Yeah.
If you have a dinosaur, it's not... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this one, instead of saying when you control an equipment and you have equipment, then it has double strike. That's what it was before. Now it's if you have a dinosaur and you have equipment, then it has double strike, which is just obviously totally different.
Exactly,
I didn't think about that.
It used to be a little tautological redundancy, but dinosaurs don't help you in most cases.
You don't give a fuck.
Inspiring Cleric, 3-mana 3/2 ETB, gain 4 life. So more vampire life play.
Right, and this one's just gaining life and no paying, no taking, just like they just found some life, somewhere on the floor somewhere. Yep. And I think that's cool. Like I like the idea that they can be more than just like taking in that regard, but more than just a flavor standpoint. The card itself is just not bad. It's a good card.
Yeah. I mean, you would play Lone Missionary and sideboards and happily play it in limited and stuff.
Yeah, I think this card is near incredible.
Yeah,
like,
it's a solid, solid little helper. The immortal sun will bring us true eternal life to replace the everlasting shadow of undeath.
Right, put some headphones on and play it. You don't have to listen to this guy rant on about immortal suns and stuff. Just gain the life.
Move on. Ixalan's Binding, 3W uncommon enchantment. When it ETB, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. Your opponents can't cast spells with the same name as the exiled card. So this is
Voidstone Gargoyle without the body.
Yeah, well, it's O-Ring plus the...
Oh, yeah, because Voidstone didn't do that. Yeah, I mean, Reflector Mage without the body. I mean, I don't know that it's going to, in draft, it won't have any impact. And in standard, I assume
they'll just play the
people are going to
one.
O-Stone. But if they don't, then O-Stone will be better than normal against the decks that usually just ignore O-Stone. Like, remember, like
Meddling Ring. Arkanoid nailed it. It's Meddling Ring.
Yeah, Meddling Ring. Oh, sure, yeah. And like O-Ring for like mono red, they just like, fine, you pay 3 mana, take my guy, let's just move on with the match. But they actually can't do that with this card.
Right.
I don't know if that's going to be worth the extra cost, but it is something to think about. If they
I can't imagine it's going to be used too much over the cast out. But I can definitely see it being used. And as you said, like the second ability is not going to come up in limited enough to really make a difference, but you're just going to be happy to play your removal spell.
And if it does come up enough in limited, you're going to have a really good game 2 and game 3, ostensibly.
Kinjali's Collar, 1 mana 03. Dinosaur spells you cast cost 1 less to cast.
We'll see.
You better be on board.
Yeah, all right. I mean, you've painted some broad strokes. I'd like to see the fine print.
Well, the Larwin ones, the bannerets, saw play. They were good.
Mm-hmm.
But they mostly had bodies or other utility.
Yeah, they did other jobs.
It's unlikely that O3 for one is gonna be pulling too much weight, especially because it itself is not a dinosaur. Like the Stony Brook Banneret was a merfolk, so like you gained all these abilities from the merfolk. But
Yeah.
things that care about your dinosaurs aren't gonna help this or count this.
Give him Planeswalk or something.
Yeah, he needs. I can't tell. Needs like a lot more help. But if the dinosaur deck comes together, then this is going to be insane. Because I bet the dinosaur deck has like a glut at 4 and 5 drops. You know.
Couldn't make him a 1/3 or a 0/4. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, an 0/4 at least.
1/2. I'd take a 1/2 over
Oh,
3.
Arcanine makes a very good point about Raid, which you haven't seen yet, but it'll come up later. There's the attack. If you attack, and if you've attacked this term effects, and a lot of them are on dinosaurs, so this has a lot of value to the fact that it's a cheap dinosaur enabler.
Oh, so you just attack for 0 and then play your dinosaur for cheaper, and it has an extra trigger because you attacked?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sold yet, but that definitely piques my interest.
Yeah, something to keep in mind for once we get into those raid cards, at least. Kinjali's Sunwing. Who's Kinjali?
Good point. Good question.
Fair enough. 3
answer.
mana, 2/3 flyer. Creatures your opponents control ETBT. So, like, a really bad Thalia?
I mean, I wish it was like 2 for a 2/2 flying. You know, like 3. As soon as you cost 3 and you don't have flash, like you're in a.
Well, it costs 2 if you have Kinjali's Collar.
That's true.
Just saying.
That's a curve.
Just saying. Yeah, I mean, 2/3 flyer for 3 with upside. You'll play it in limited, and I don't think you'll break into
I should
constructed.
definitely mention that. Yeah, like, when I think of rares, I always think of the constructed application.
Yeah, exactly. It's
in the pack, you're going to take it.
It's one of those rares that, like, in terms of limited, it might as well be an uncommon.
And in limited, the card's actually insane. I mean, remember like Loxodon Gatekeeper, how that was better than it looked when it was in play versus when it was in your hand.
Yeah, that ability is really good, especially when you're aggressive.
Yeah, this is like a one of those cards where because it's a rare and it's cheap, it can be overlooked, but it happens to be like just the actual best card ever. Like this is one of those cards where you'll win a game because you play it turn 3 versus like the other card you would have taken over it in a stunningly high amount of games.
Yep. Legion Conquistador, 3 mana, 2/2 vampire. ETB, search your library for any number of cards named Legion Conquistador, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. Holy shit.
Yeah, Squadron Hawk comes back.
What?
Yeah.
This card's sweet.
This is Squadron Legion.
Arguably better than Squadron Hawk because it can find all of your Legion Conquistadors and not just 3 others.
Right, so in limited especially...
when you get 5 of them. All of the times that you get 5 of them.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not unreasonable to have 5 or 6 or 7. Or, as I will tell a very quick story, and it is worth it.
I have one too. Go ahead.
All right, well, it might be the same one. VD was playing at the Cold Snap Grand Prix, where it was Ravnica sealed, Cold Snap booster draft.
Yeah,
which was
I
when
remember
Magic
that one.
was not regulated by any sane authority. But they did make Ravnica, so, who knows? Insanity really lended some benefits. So when Cold Snap was going on, you had these, like, Surge cards where, like, you play, like, you get, like, 4 Surging Flames, and, like, you killed their whole board on, like, on turn 4 because you played a 2-mana instant. It's like, oh, it felt so cool. And then you have, like, this, 7 Surging Mites, because no one took that card. But if you had all of them, then you could make, like, a 15/15 on turn 3. It's like, whoa, this is so cool. And you have Surging Dementia where, like, no one took them ever, so, like, you could turn 2 Mind Twist them. But Surging Sentinels was a 2/1 first strike for 3. And so people kind of took that card or, like, didn't not take it. And you usually got, like, 5 at most, 6 at most.
Cold
like,
Snap was
like,
it was Cold Snap draft, and it was a tiny set.
It's tiny. So with VD, he got 11 Surging Sentinels. 11, okay? And he took a Luminescence, his second Luminescence, over the 12th Surging Sentinels. Okay, and Luminescence was because it was the only card that could actually beat it was a common called Martyr of Ashes. And so without Martyr of Ashes, there's no way to beat Sentinels in the whole set. And not like you can't beat it, like, but unless you have a certain card, like I'm talking literally no answer. They're dead on turn 4.
You die on turn 4, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was just fantastic that was the pick that he'd made. And so Legion Conquistadors reminds me of this in that if you get a bunch in draft, they get incrementally amazing, and you get to do really weird things about grinding out your opponent because you have a non-trivially high amount of card advantage differential that is impossible to combat, but they don't come straight into play, so it's not like it's that big. But VD was just cemented himself as a very large sicko to me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, this one. Prevent all damage that black or red sources would deal. Ridiculous.
Yeah, so shout out to VD for picking like the best like discipline pick ever.
Yeah, that's sick. My story is just that at Nationals in booster draft, Owen had 5 Squadron Hawks, and he like mulliganed a 4 on the play, but played a Squadron Hawk on turn 2 and tried to find the other 4, and his opponent's like, no, you can only find 3. And he was like, what? This card's bullshit! Like, this is unbelievable!
Like, it doesn't matter at all, but I feel like, why would they limit this?
Right. And so I'm birding this match. I might have been playing next to him, or a couple tables down, and I felt the whole room at the same time hope that his next draw step was the 5th Squadron Hawk, but it wasn't. And he won easily from 4 cards thanks to the Hawks.
Arcanoi, he main decked them. There was no reason not to. In fact, he played like 19 planes too. There was just no reason to do anything else.
Yeah, if you get it, you win. So, yeah, this card's sweet. I don't know if it'll be constructed. It just depends on what the metagame looks like. You don't have, like Jace the Mind Sculptor to really go off with it like you did with Squadron Hawk. You don't have, swords to equip to your free bodies, but it seems like a powerful enough card that...
Not being a 2-drop sucks as well, but it's going to be good in draft. I mean, if you can get like 3 or 4 in draft, you have a different way of... Like, you and your opponent are going to be playing a little bit differently the entire game based on the knowledge that you have a crazy amount of creatures to blow through, and he has to either evade or attrition you when otherwise he would be... Or have, like, he can't attrition you, I should say. He has to fly over or play a bomb, and you can win the attrition war, which is the majority of games.
Yep. Legion's Judgment, 3-mana sorcery. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater.
Yeah, it'd be too good at instant.
Well, it's just a concession to, like, if this thing's common and instant, then, like, it just hurts your soul to play dinosaurs and, like, invest all of this deck building space and mana and, tempo into a dinosaur and just get it, like, next snap at the end of turn.
Yeah, this is the they don't put Shatterstorm in an artifact set.
Yeah, exactly. But you're definitely going to play it every time in Limited, and it's not going to see play in Constructed.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it doesn't. Let's just put it that way. I don't want a format where that's playable.
Right. A 1/7 for 4. It's a dinosaur.
Oh, you missed the Legion's Landing.
What?
Oh, I have a different... I'm on the Wizard spoiler. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, so never mind. I guess that's at the end.
Is that a land?
Sorry. No, it's a flip... It's a transform card.
Oh, yeah, those are sorted differently.
I got you.
Looming Altasaur, 1/7 for 4. Just the story. Just the story. Brush up on your lore.
What some feathers you got him.
Yeah. The main use of this card, I believe, will be to proclaim your very abysmal record when a tournament doesn't go too well. Just say you're a Looming Altasaur after round 8.
Yeah, Looming alternate draft.
Maverick Fine, Dusk Apostle, 3-mana, 2/2 rare, another legendary vampire. Whenever one or more non-token vampires you control attack, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. All right,
this is Morven Fine in draft.
Yes.
I mean, this is just... I mean, if you have 7 vampires in your deck, this card is outrageous. This card is just not acceptably good.
Yup.
Oh my god. You just go Vampire turn 1, Vampire turn 3, trade, Vampire turn 4, this guy, and a combat trick on turn 5, and the game ends immediately.
Yep. Yeah, you're like, tight curve vampire aggro deck is gonna, like, you open this and go into that.
It does not. Yeah, this is just a weird. This is like Goblin Matron. Whatever that one that taps and doubles your goblins. Like it's just one of those cards where this can get out of control
Krenko?
very, very quick. Yeah, Krenko.
Yeah.
It's the Vampire Krenko-ish, you know?
Yeah. It's also sweet with the Legion Conquistadors, just like making sure you always are churning stuff out
Man,
into it.
You can, this thing will really turn the grindstone.
Yeah. Paladin of the Bloodstained, 4 mana, 3/2 common, another vampire. There's no like class stuff, right? Like knight and soldier and cleric don't matter.
No, the vampires are with all their aristocracy. They don't care about your job.
Okay. When it ETBs, create a 1/1. Okay, so you just get one of those tokens, the 1/1 lifelink tokens. So it's kind of like a 4/3, but not really. Worse like 90% of the time and better the other 10% of the time.
Yeah, I mean it's 4 power for 4 mana, and the way it comes is kind of like in Hearthstone, where it either matters a lot or matters a very little, but at least it's trying, and it's on par for what we want for that casting cost. And at common, it's the best way to get 2 vampires for your vampire theme that we have so far.
Yes. Yeah, for your net vampire count, this is probably going to be one of the higher rate cards you're going to be able to draft.
Yeah,
Pious
yes,
Interdiction. 4 mana, aura, enchant creature, ETB gain 2 life, pacifism. Sure.
I like that what you mentioned before that I didn't really think of at all. The removal is expensive in this set, and I like that a lot.
Yes. Yeah, when, like, I'm reminded of, what was it, Rise of the Eldrazi? Or it's like, you know, the most effective removal is, like, Heat Ray and stuff. Because, like, you can't just have Doomblade when people are investing 8 mana into a common on the reg.
And I'm not sure what the intention of your stream was aiming to do, so I don't want to do these too often, especially since you have a place where you have to go at a certain time. But I think that in general, I think that that's underappreciated in Magic design, and I think it's part of why like a lot of these sets are better than other sets. Like the thing that separates sets is the removal and why they chose the removal they did. Right. And I think that like it's a failure of Lightning Bolt in Constructed, but not in Limited. Like the core environments were really fast, so Lightning Bolt made sense in those sets. But the fact that the removal is expensive, I mean, so far we'll see later if it follows the same pattern, is just a smart move and it's flavorful. Like the removal matches the threats of the set in a flavorful way, and that's just
it should cost a lot to take down a giant dinosaur.
It absolutely should. If I see pacifism in this set, it would just be depressing.
Yeah, I mean, I know all the times that I've taken down dinosaurs, it's been, you know, strenuous. To say the least.
Even in cube construction, I try to emphasize with people that like you don't want to play cards just because they feel good to play. You want both. You want the cards that people will remember as good in their limited environments, but also if they match the kind of thing your cube is looking to do.
Right.
You know, unless you're just playing a cube.
Unless your cube is just based around one color.
Right. Which
how's that going, by the way?
For another time.
Pasquale Bear saying Vendetta. Yeah, Vendetta-ing an Ulmai's Crusher is definitely something you're allowed to do.
Yeah, but I mean, you're paying a pretty large price.
Yeah, it's definitely something I've done. But
you know, it's
kicking pieces of wood. Priest of the Awakening Sun, another 1 mana 1/1, rare, human. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal a dinosaur card from your hand if you do gain 2 life. It's really weird. 5 mana, sacrifice it, search your library for a dinosaur card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library.
Hand? It doesn't even get into play?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess with play it would need to cost more, but this is not. This is an offensive display.
All it would need for it to be in play is only activated as a sorcery.
Yeah, and make it cost like maybe 6. So make it cost more than like all but like 2 dinosaurs or something. You know.
You could also X it, like X search for a dinosaur with converted mana cost X. You know.
Yeah, I mean, especially like in draft, you would probably play this card in draft if you had like 7+ dinosaurs because you got like a little Honden going, and so maybe it's good. But it play at your own risk. But in Constructed, I can see this played in a deck that has really low cost dinosaurs as a matter of course. They're just kind of in the deck, kind of like the dwarf theme. They happen to be around, and you just board them in to have like little tiny Hondens they have to deal with. but overall, if this card's good, it's a temporary thing. It's not going to be. I don't know why they didn't push this card more. They could have.
Yep, agreed. Like, you see cards that kind of walk this line, see marginal play sometimes.
Remember Sacred Guide? It was
Yeah.
1 white and 1, and they sacrificed it, and you got to search for the top white card, and white creature, and put it into play or something.
Yeah.
And that was back when they were trying to curb cards like that. This card could have just been paid 2 white, sacrifice search for a dinosaur. I don't know what they're even trying to do.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one. Definitely like a Johnny build around.
But why limit it? Why clip this guy's wings?
Yeah, I agree. I like when like Soul Wardens pop up and turn out to be good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the format deserved it if that deck's good. If you let this deck be good, it was the format's fault and the players playing that format's fault, not Soul Wardens.
for not being able to beat something so
Anyone
neutered
but Soul
and
Wardens is responsible for this.
yeah. Pterodon Knight, 4 mana, 3/3, has flying as long as you control a dinosaur. Sure.
I don't want to play this, but I will.
It's gonna be like your 21st to 23rd card in limited.
Yeah, this is the Ironfur Grizzly of the set.
Yep. Queen's Commission, 3 mana, sorcery, 2 vampires with lifelink. Sure. 3 mana for 2 tokens is well below rate for constructed.
Yeah, this is not raising the alarm, but they have lifelink, and so instead of colorless mirror,
You better be doing something very special with them.
now you got vampire lifelink. I mean, make it an instant, please. I can't handle this. Like 1/1 spirit flyers get an instant, and this doesn't.
Yeah, because like if this was an instant, it would be a sweet combat trick in the like early late game.
And lifelink is not first strike. I mean, it's not too powerful in combat. It just swings the favors a little bit, and that makes it fog-like, not godlike.
Exactly. I agree. Rallying Roar, 3 mana, uncommon instant. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Untap them. So this is one of the things that you're doing with your Queen's Commissions, presumably.
Yeah, I mean, to arms for everything, not just samurai. I mean, this is fine. I mean, these are the cards that should exist the way they do. This is not too powerful. It's also very good. Well, maybe not very good, but I like cards.
What's
like
the card? The 2 mana 3/1 that is a lifelink 4/4. Things like being untapped,
Aspiring
right?
Semi-Pro? No, Aspiring Hero.
Sure. Raptor Companion, 3/1 for 2. It's a dino.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
Yep.
Now I understand what's happening.
Yeah, you're gonna play this, and if you are dinosaurs, you're gonna really like playing it. I'm on board.
Every single time you see a 3/1 for 2 mana, it sets the tribal theme for the set almost explicitly. Last time it was cat with leading blade, whatever the 6 hair, whatever the future sight one.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that was not a dwarf. Oh, anyway, like 3/1s for 2 mana with white. You'll see a lot in play in limited, and it'll be tribal relevant or relevant in some capacity. It's never just what it is.
Yep. It's weird that there's the word companion on a card that has no rules text.
I guess it's to really, really nudge, wink, wink you at the fact that dinosaurs love friends.
I think it's more that dinosaurs are supposed to be big, so we acknowledge that this one is small because it's like somebody's pet.
Like the troll hound.
Yeah, but like companion, like to me, I mean they've done it a couple times before, but I always wanted to have like a Mog Flunkies text or something like that, you know?
Oh, I see what you're saying. It is, you're absolutely right. Companion, it implies a certain amount of helplessness that this one does not.
Yeah, well, at the very least, it implies a duality, right? Like, there is more than this if it's a companion of something.
Brothers Yamazaki aspect to it or something.
Yeah, I'm over it. All right, we went from, like, potentially defining of one of the main archetypes to gain 4 life, draw a card for 3 mana. Yikes.
Reviving Dose or whatever that other card is, it's.
I've boarded it in against people that did all the Raging Goblins and Lava Axe decks in that core set limited format, and that's the only time I've ever played this card.
I think that in general, it's never terrible to play cards like this, and so I always say if you feel like playing it, then you should, because you should feel good about the deck you're playing.
Right.
Like, this card is not terrible enough to not
If
play.
you have like an awesome control deck and you're like, well, I don't want to play a 19th land, then you play this.
But that being said, yeah, Reviving Dose is a card that stays in my sideboard unless I feel like I need to board into it.
Yep.
This is not
Sanguine Sacrament. X dub instant. Now here's a life gain spell. Gain twice X life. And
yeah, get a
put it on
life.
the bottom. Yeah, I mean, I can see this being a one of in constructed control decks.
In limited, if you lack a win condition, this will do. But because you can get to a point where they can't do enough damage to you, and you can just cast this every turn.
Yep.
But you know, you better be playing fast enough and know that that's your strategy to include a card like this in your deck in the first place.
And hope that they don't have any counter magic or duress type of effects or anything like that.
Right. I mean, this card won't beat Sprout Swarm either. So, like, you know, like the card, like, you better make sure that you can beat Inevitability.
Yeah,
and, like,
they go exponential on you. You're not gonna have a recourse. Son of the Wreckage, 4 mana instant. Exile all attacking creatures target player controls. That player may search his or her library for that many basic land cards. Put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So Swords is to Plowshares is, or Path is to Exiles is.
That second one, I think.
Yeah, it's the second one. 4 mana's a fucking lot, though.
You know what? Why does it need to be attacking? I mean, I'm serious. Like, I get that it's an instant and it needs to be attacking because otherwise the player doesn't feel like they can play around it. Like, what if it was all tapped creatures? I mean, or tapped and attacking, or all creatures that came into play this turn and attacking. The idea that it's just attacking is really offensive because
it's bizarre.
They get a kill with this,
Yeah.
and they get a bunch of cards back for it. I mean, they get all the lands back.
Well,
Path Exile's already
the card that this is a direct nod to does not have that clause.
I just don't get it. Like, it feels bizarre that they care so much to give it such a terrible disability, and then on top of that, give it a limitation that it doesn't need. No one even asked for it.
And they're already
I'm like downright offended by this.
They're already not sending their best guy into your 5 mana neck snap.
Yeah, they're not setting their best people.
No, they're not. Yeah, it's a weird one.
Offends me to the core. It should cost 3 mana. I mean, it's just offensive.
Yes, it should be slightly better in some way. I'm being informed in the chat that it's Wrath to Exile is what this card has been coined.
Yeah,
More like Exile. Yeah,
more like Wrath and Foil and throw away.
Sheltering Light, 1 mana instant. Target creature gets indestructible until end of turn. Scry 1. Super bad filler limited trick that you'll play some of the time when you have a bunch of the 3/1s.
Are you speaking to me personally? Because I feel like that's exactly, you described it right. I will play this sometimes, and I'll justify it to whoever will listen.
Yep.
But it's not good.
Well, it's like if you have a good aggressive vampire deck, and then, but like are light on removal, but you have like 3/1s for 2 and 4/4s for 4 or whatever that can be traded for, then this is good.
Of a set.
And if they have some weird expensive removal spell or something, you can play it against that or board it in.
I think that in general, you have to have creatures where they're fragile, and so you're going to be casting this at least once a game in any event. You don't have to wait for your opponent to chime in with like something in the form of removal. Like your intention needs to be to cast this on turn 4 alongside a creature for this to be considered playable.
The parallel is a card that's near and dear to both of our hearts, God's Willing, which you can use that as a falter. You can't use this as a falter.
Right. I mean, yeah. Again, God's Willing was a Magic card. It was a Richard Garfield game Magic card. It was really good.
Yeah.
Those were times that I could look back on fondly.
Yeah. The name Sheltering Light, somebody pointed in the chat, that's a pretty interesting name to have not been used yet.
I feel like I mean, Shelter itself was used, but that's
right.
It.
Yeah, I'm on board. Half on board. Shining Aerosaur, 5 mana, 3/4 flyer, dinosaur. Sure.
Whatever. I'm pissed off.
If this was printed like 12 years ago, it would be the best common in the set.
This is like Kithkin Sky Knights, where like it's a Kithkin, it costs 5. It's kind of too late to matter with the theme of it all. If you play it, it means your deck's low powered, but if you need it, you got to do it. So just keep that.
Skyblade of the Legion, 1/3 flyer for 2. It's a vampire. It's like that Pegasus, except has a tribal tinge to it.
Yeah, and I've actually come around on these kind of cards that have like 1/3 flying. Like if you, it has a sort of fog aspect to it, where it's wrong to play in the abstract, but you can have decks where this card is good if you have a defensive vampire themed deck with a late game plan. This is right. This is the card that you're gonna play and you're gonna want it, and you can table it. You can You can almost guarantee that you'll get this card 11th pick if you would have thought to take it 3rd pick. With that in mind, it's important to know that it exists.
Yes, it's a total role player, right? Like it's not a card that you're putting into your deck because of its rate or anything like that. It's just a role player. But
keep your eye out for it though. If you need tribal themes for it, you can. This is the kind of card you can bank on tabling, and you need those decisions early if you're going to be focusing on taking vampire-centric cards over cards that would otherwise be better.
And if your opponent has like a deck that's just a bunch of 2-power flyers or whatever, then
and get word card right into it. And some sets have 3 Welkin turns, and other ones have 0. So
right, exactly. Slash of Talons, 1 mana instant, deal 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. So this is a functional reprint, right? This card exists already?
It'll get you out of harm's way, regardless of what it's called. Actually, then harm's way was better.
Harm's way was way better. The one that did this...
Blow.
Something blow.
Holy blow, I don't know.
Yeah,
blow.
It's basically like Sheltering Light, but slightly different and doesn't scry. It does damage, which matters in this set, right?
It's Righteous Blow.
Righteous Blow, there you go.
Yeah. Damage, I think, is... I mean, I've seen some indestructible stuff. We'll see later. I don't think there's any reason that damage is worse or better than it is normally. There's no Wither stuff that I've seen, so we'll see.
No, but there's Enrage.
Oh, dude. Man, you're smart. Holy shit, I'm so stupid. That is exactly what this card is. That's on your own creature to get those enrage effects, and that's going to matter a lot in a way that I love. Just like Twisted Strike, where like you get infect, you can use on your opponent's creature to fog them. Like this is going to have a cool little effect to it and it's bad against their creatures with enrage as well.
Right.
So
it's got a lot of layers to it. It's an onion.
This card went from yawn to very good.
To onion.
Word for it.
Yawn to onion. Steadfast Armasaur, 4 mana, 2/3 Vig, 1 W tap, deal damage equal to its toughness to target creature blocking or blocked by it. This is a fucking annoying card. It reminds me of the Tree Folk from Invasion that could like redirect the damage that was dealt to it.
Oh yeah, mirrored Tree Folk.
Yeah, it's just like a pain in the ass to play against. Like, it's not even that good, it's just such a fucking hassle.
It's a card that, it's like Ballista Squad, but worse, and I think that really sums it up, because Ballista Squad wasn't really all that good to begin with, it was just the most annoying of a card that's just like this.
Yeah. It very rarely does anything, except for the times that it single-handedly wins the game on its own.
Yeah, remember, what was it, Harpoon Sniper from Lorwyn? That was the white merfolk? Which was good because it was a merfolk and it cost 3. This is like...
The
worse
Dino
in about
version
4
of
different
that.
ways, and still you're going to want it in those white decks that you want to go long. I mean, if it can block a 2/2, it doesn't cost 5, and it'll win the game for you. If your opponent has nothing, which means that you can exhaust the removal on things they don't need to, and then play this and live 7 more turns and just stare at each other.
Yep. I will happily point out the flavor of it dealing damage with its butt. Its toughness deals the damage because dinosaurs have like the whippy tail club thing.
I have an objection. It should have been a stegosaur of some kind.
Well, it is, right? Like they called the other thing. Well, they called it a raptor, didn't they? They called this a raptor, but they like made up a name for like Altasaur. I don't know if that's real. But this is like a real dinosaur.
Altasaur was like a brontosaurus-ish or brachiosaurus.
It's a brontosaurus, and
Where's
then this is a
Stegosaurus?
triceratops.
I've ever seen one.
Triceratops is just called ceratops. Aerosaur is not a pterodactyl. Like they're.
It doesn't even look Stegosaurus-ish, And I don't know. Like Stegosaurs are cute, and this is like supposed to be like It's something you love to hate. I don't know. They really dropped the ball on this.
Yeah.
Why does it have fire?
Well, there are dinosaurs that like their defining trait is their fucking tail weapon, and they didn't use them. It's weird.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about now, but I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not a dinosaur scientist. Sunrise Seeker, 5 mana, 3/3 human scout. What's this human doing here? ETB Explore. Yeah, Explore's still great. Vigilance is okay, but this is a little on the expensive side. It's going to be filler. So it has no synergies.
It reminds me of a Kami of the Painted Road, where when it's good, it's pretty good. Otherwise, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But the fact, if it was a vampire, you'd see some play. If it was a dinosaur, you'd see some play. As a human, it doesn't really have a home, and you only want to play this if you don't. You would otherwise not have a spot in your curve here, and like you have. I don't like, honestly, the deck that would play this you wouldn't want to draft.
Right. Unless you're Shuhei Nakamura.
Yeah, just look right past it. Yeah, this is a Shuhei card. This is a great example.
For
this
sure.
Is a Shuhei card.
Territorial Hammer Skull. See, I don't think a Hammer Skull is a real thing either. 2/3 for 3. Whenever it attacks, tap a creature? That's damn good.
Yeah, white dinosaurs are aggressive as hell. I think they're the most aggressive, but I could be wrong. And this ability they don't give away for free. Usually it's 4 mana for a 2/2 to have an ability like this.
Right.
So this is probably one of the more pushed versions of this. And the fact that it's 3 toughness means this card will be the core Hookmaster.
Yeah, their second best blocker has to have 3 power to take this down. Like, that's not easy to do before turn 5, you know?
Yeah, I mean this and the fact that it's a common too. Like, you better have a plan for this. Like, the reason why Lightning Strike will be the pick you make is because of cards like this.
Yep. Yeah, this is definitely going to be like an archetypical defining card for sure.
I should bring it up that Lightning Strike isn't the set, so like this is like a that interaction is going to be probably the most common thing to happen before turn 3 will be Lightning Striking this.
Yep. Tocatli Honor Guard. Tocatli, I guess, are the humans.
We passed up Vampire Zeal, I think.
Nope, that's next.
Oh, see, did you? Man, it's misordered on mine. I should get on your level. Literally.
Well, T comes before V, you see.
MTG Salvation's more focused on.
See, it goes A, B, C. D.
The problem is I started A and I didn't make it in time.
All right, 1 mana or 2 mana, 1/3. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. This is like a weird modern hate bear type card. I don't. We'll have to see how much it actually affects standard.
The fact that it's just it should be a 2/3. I mean, what 2 mana 2/3s for 1 white? I get are like weird. You don't want to make them, but that's what this card needs to be playable, and it's not playable without that.
Yeah, even a 2/2 or 2/1 first strike like Thalia.
Literally anything but what it is. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. They should have Vigilance at the very least, and Lifelink.
It's gonna end up in some fucking like Kiki Chord sideboard, so you can go get it. But
but like and only because of I don't know. This card really makes me mad. It should be a Soul Warden too. It should be something else also.
Yeah, I agree. It's just too bad.
I'm mad. I don't get mad very often.
You've been mad like 3 times so far.
It's a waste of the card. There's no reason why it should have been the way it is.
Well, maybe they're looking to do a legendary one that's more pushed, and they want to make sure that this ability isn't like oppressive or something. It's not like there's a bunch of Flame Tongue Kavus running around, you know? Like, creatures entering the battlefield triggering is not something that's like happening that much in standard. I don't know, it's weird.
And never again, because they've been burned too much before.
Yeah, I guess. Vampire Zeal, 1 mana instant common, +2/+2 if it's a vampire gains first strike. I like that. Vampires are a lifelink thing, but this doesn't give lifelink. Because normally they do that, and then it's just like, well, my thing has double lifelink? What the fuck? Instead, it's not only not lifelink, but it's an ability that works well with lifelink. I'm on board.
I love the idea that white spells can give things to vampires that they don't have automatically. And, they have Vigilance on, maybe, but being able to give them first strike.
Gift them the white ability.
Is a better flavor thing going in. Kind of like they did that in Innistrad too with the red card.
Yeah.
And so whatever, but it's just a smart realization by the card creators, and that's just I'll just take time to appreciate the creativity of people in that department to say we don't want to give them lifelink, even though that's the obvious first place to go, and it's wrong for very deep reasons that we understand, and that's just bravo.
Yeah, hats off, hat tip
Yeah.
to R&D for that one.
I mean, that's no accident. If it was, fine, take our pride. But, like this kind of stuff is easy to mess up, and they didn't do it this time.
Agreed. It's also like the third 1-mana trick we've seen out of white, and that's significant for just like being a pain in the ass to play around all of them.
And it means Filtering Light will see even less play.
Yeah, well, it means that like you can pull the play game one and then board it out for another one, so they're playing against 2 damage, and instead you have +2/+2.
Leave them dazed and confused.
Yeah. Awakening Sun's Avatar. Jesus. Just a big old mythic.
Yeah.
5 WWW for a 7/7. ETB, if you cast it from your hand, destroy all non-dino creatures.
Yeah, I mean, this is no divinity counter, but I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Myojin of sorts. It's fucking huge.
You'll play it limited, but it won't be as good as you think it is. Don't slam it first pick, but you can if you want to.
Yeah, if you want to have a little fun.
But it's not like a slam dunk first pick. It's just a build around card, and you might not want to play it by the time the draft is done. But if you have the self discipline,
it's also one of those things where it's like your white decks, your heavy white decks are going to be like built on the back of grizzly bears. Like you're going to be an aggressive deck, not one that's trying to go to 8 mana.
Yeah, the closest thing I can think of is it's like Deathwing or Doom in Hearthstone, where it's like, I mean, you're going to want that card on turn 10, but do you want it right now?
Right.
Like, do you want to build a deck that wants to get there?
Yep. All right, blue.
Yeah, Elemental. It's